microphones again, so raise your hand, we'll get them to you. Go ahead, Casey.
Matt, obviously a big comeback win after the loss. What did you see just from pretty much everyone from front starters to bench responding tonight?
Well, I thought we did a good job of, taking care of the basketball. We had a couple turnovers there that were unforced, but we kind of kept it at our range that we need to keep it at. Then I thought we made that run to start the second half, and we were able to, really rebound the basketball and not allow second chance opportunities. And, started the game 5-1 on the first media timeout, and they had 5 offensive rebounds, and they ended with 7. So we did a much better job after that first media timeout. But I thought our guys executed and played well. Obviously, Cam gave us a big lift off the bench, made every shot that he took, and just trying to establish Zach, and then kind of just read how they're handling Braden and ball screen things, and then just kind of sprinkle in from there. We had a couple shots in the first half that we'd like to have back, but I thought our guys played well. Obviously this is one of the best defensive teams in the country, and to put 96 points up against them is something that we haven't done. We might have done it a long time ago against them, but since he's gotten that program established, we haven't been able to really open up and score against them, and they've made it really difficult on us. And so this was a big night for us. This was a big win for us.
Hey, Matt, over here. I thought your ball movement tonight was a lot better than what it ever was at Ohio State. Did you work a little bit on that this weekend? Or I seen you mouthing them before the start of the game. It looked like you were saying, move the ball, move the ball,
yeah.
Move the ball.
Yeah, we worked on it. Like sometimes the ball will stick, but you also have to understand we had 6 turnovers out of our 14, and we got the ball down low against Ohio State. So we're going to still try to get the ball in positions to Zach or to Braden or whoever it might be on our team, right? And we just kind of play off of that. But yeah, we really talked about ball movement, making it simple. When they take things away, trying to beat Rutgers one-on-one is not going to work. You have to move the ball, you have to play out a ball screen, you have to play out of the post. And then when you have advantageous scenarios that you get in transition or you get on offensive rebounds, whatever, now you got to take advantage of that, and you got to get layups and dunks, and I thought we did a good job of that.
Matt, how hard is it for a guy like Cam to stay patient where he's capable of doing what he did, but when you're getting 4 minutes, 6 minutes, even 10 minutes and being asked to basically go in and play a different role, stay patient and just know that your time is going to come?
Yeah, it's borderline impossible, to be frank. Like, you sit there and you wait, and you're getting in the first half. You might not get in the second half. We've talked about it a lot as a staff. Just, you get into a 10-man rotation, and when you sub, is that more for a defense or offense? But he's been solid on both ends, and it's hard because it's a numbers game, and that's all it is. It's not like we don't believe in him, because we do. But tonight, he was able to show his skill, show his athleticism, but also he didn't do anything that he couldn't do. He stayed within himself. He had a couple of direct drives that were great, obviously knocking down his threes. But no, he's kept a great attitude. You kind of see, his upside there. You see, especially playing alongside Braden and then playing alongside a great post like Zachary.
It's just preempted my question, but it would have been human nature to throw up a heat check or two, but it seemed like he made good decisions attacking the basket. How hard is that, especially when you're a younger guy having a night like this?
Yeah, it's just who he is. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's a guy that can defend. He can space. He takes the shots that come his way. When they don't come his way, if they play him on a closeout, he can direct drive. But really, it's getting the ball inside at that point. And learning to, if they're going to take you away. So a lot of people in our league have taken Fletcher Lawyer away. And I thought tonight he was great. He had 5 assists, 1 turnover, and he has scored 27 against Tennessee, and he scored 27 against Arizona. What do you think they're going to do? And so in those games, he's opportunistic in those games. We'll run a couple things for him, but it's not like what we do for Braden, or it's not like what we do for Zachary. And so I think it's important. A lot of young guys don't know who they are yet. They think who they are is how they played in high school. And there's a small percentage of people that can do that and transition in there. He's done a really good job of just playing to his strengths, taking what's given, and not forcing things. And even tonight, just like you mentioned, he's 7 for 7, and he didn't force anything. He just let the game come to him. he's going to be a good player. He's already a good player. He just needs more of an opportunity.
Hey, Matt, talk about the state of the game. You've got two generational players, Zach-Edey, Caitlin Clark. As a fan, what's it like for all these fans that are out there watching all these games and knowing there's two generational talents right now?
Yeah, a lot of times with someone like Caitlin Clark or Zach-Edey, like, you don't appreciate them until they're gone. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, she's so dynamic in the way she can move east-west at 30 feet and flick it and make it. Like, it's borderline amazing. And people don't understand, like, how hard that is. It's like a video game. It's like what Steph does. Like, it's like a video game. It's amazing. Klay Thompson, those guys. Like, if you really appreciate greatness. But I'm a big believer in this. Zach obviously has the most rebounds now, and he passes Joe Barry Carroll, who's one of our great players. But you don't replicate greatness. Like, the next Rick Mount's not coming through the doors. There's only one Rick Mount. There's only one Joe Barry Carroll. There's only one Caitlin Clark. There's only one. And just appreciate them. Appreciate their greatness and appreciate they're here. And as a coach, you always want, dealing with Zach, you always want more. You don't want more from somebody who played 6 minutes who's your ninth man. It's not fair. They didn't get the opportunity. But when you're dealing with someone who's special like that, like, you got to keep pushing them. You got to keep, grinding because they have the capability to carry everybody on a given night.
Matt, you said a lot of young guys don't know who they are yet. You've got two sophomore guards. How far have they come in terms of learning who they are?
I think, for Braden, he gets some backhanded compliments because people will hedge ball screens, they'll trap ball screens, they'll extend the ball screens, and sometimes he wants direct plays instead of getting the ball out of his hands and getting, for lack of a better term, a hockey assist. And the ball's got to move sometimes. So that's where his development is. He wants everything to go smooth, and everybody's trying to knock him out of rhythm. So it's a little bit harder. Fletcher's really shown a lot of resolve. He hasn't shot the ball well here for about 5 or 6 games, but he also hasn't had a lot of attempts. But it's not who you are as a player. Who you are as a player is the total package, the value. How do you defend? Do you take care of the basketball? Do you have a good attitude? Fletcher's been great, and Braden's been great in those situations, because this time of last year was really tough for us. It's really tough for those two guys, and they're doing a much better job. And a lot of times people will look at it and like, well, how are they doing a much better job? It's when adversity sets in. When adversity sets in, that's where you see the difference. And Fletcher's kept a great attitude through a little bit of a shooting slump, but he's doing good things to help us. And Braden's been fantastic. Both those guys they won it all. And sometimes you can't get it all the time. You got to slowly but surely build on that. But fortunate to have them in our program.
Yeah, I've been watching Purdue games for 67 years now, and I don't remember free throw shooting like it's gone the last 2 games.
Yeah.
27 in a row, and then 38 out of 39 until Goldberg missed the last one.
Yeah.
Have you done anything special? Because they
No.
were struggling before the Ohio
No.
State game.
The only thing I say to guys, during the game is do your routine. Like, don't do anything different. Don't think any different. You don't think hit or miss. You think your mechanics. You think your little routine that you have. If you go up thinking hit or miss, it's going to be the latter. And some guys you just leave alone. But that's the only thing I say to them. Just do your routine. But no, it's great to see. Like, Zachary struggled for about 3 games in a row, but now the last 2 games he hasn't missed. So, it balances out. I was hoping we had some makes coming our way, but we ruined a 20 for 20 game, right? If you go 20 for 20, you got to win the game. But maybe it's a silver lining. I don't know.
Early on, they got some offensive rebounds and then some turnovers, and it was a 21-20 game. Did you tell them anything, or what did you see adjustment-wise to change the game there?
It wasn't an adjustment. Just take care of the basketball. The first 5 minutes we have 4 turnovers. We give up, I think, 5 offensive rebounds. Like, we weren't playing well. Like, we just take what the defense gives you. Be simple. We were getting stops, but then if you don't get the rebound, you're not rewarding yourself. But more than anything, trying to keep them in front of us. They're very good. They work downhill. They drive the ball. And then we had a couple undisciplined plays when they got deep. We needed to chest them and then not let them get away from us. Fernandez got away from us, hit a couple threes in that stretch. And that's all we really talked about. It wasn't any of their action or anything that they were doing. Just kind of at the end of their sets, they were taking us off the dribble, and then we weren't doing a good job boxing out.
Brian
This
is a joke.
didn't really impact the game at all, but I feel like I'm seeing more innocuous attacks on celebrations after threes.
Yeah,
Has that been an emphasis lately from what you can tell?
those
The
are the only
officials?
ones we've had right there, too. And looks like they just kind of matched them up.
The Illinois-Michigan State game a while back was the same way. They called one on Illinois and then
They matched it up, yeah.
they immediately called another one on Michigan State.
I don't know.
So you hadn't heard anything about that being an
That's
emphasis?
the pool reporter, right? You gotta go down the hall for that one. Yeah, I don't know. I asked him what he said. He didn't know what he said. So, but the thing for us is that no matter what they say to you, like, who cares, right? They gave a technical, and I told them, I said, they're going to give us a technical if we do anything. And we obviously, but I didn't see it, so I don't know. I'm not going to argue with someone who went 7 for 7 and 4 for 4. Yeah.
Jasmine Sam.
Expanding a little bit on what you said earlier about Zach and generational type players like Rick Mountain, Joe Beard, Carroll, you played with one of those guys in Glenn Robinson.
Mhm.
What has made Zach so special both on and off the court that you've seen?
Yeah. Obviously, when you talk about his playing ability, his elite size, then I think his competitiveness with that. He can go out of his area to rebound, which when you have that much cargo, it's kind of a tough challenge for a lot of guys that size. And then his skill level has improved so much. He became a good free throw shooter. He became a good passer. He was a bad free throw shooter. He was a bad passer. Just his understanding of the game. So he got the ball stripped the other night at Ohio State. So when he came in to watch film and I talked to him about it, he's very intelligent and understanding of like who he is. So I just said, hey, you can't drop the basketball. He goes, yeah, but when I chin it and I turn, I crack people in the head. So his transformation either has to be lower or higher. So he's got to kind of arc the basketball some. And you saw him do that a couple times tonight in those situations. So just a smart guy, understand him, but like he doesn't have, I always say this and I don't think you guys totally grasp it because you don't live it, but there's so much crap that goes on with recruiting. You feel bad for young kids because they get put on this pedestal and then they go and play college basketball and people see him and they're like, well, he's not all that. Well, he's young. He's 18, 19 years old playing against 22-year-old. He doesn't have any of that. So like when he was 15 years old, he didn't play organized basketball. So like that's such a big piece to where when you tell him something, it's not a fight. He kind of takes it in. Now he might argue with you a little bit, but he's pretty smart and when he said that right there, like, hey man, don't drop the ball. He says, well, I can transfer the basketball and I can do it what you're saying, but I'm gonna elbow this guy in the head because it's 6'9" and you're 7'4". And so like things of that nature, he has a good feel for what he has to do. Whatever, but the other stuff like off the court, like he's just a selfless person. He's a good guy. Like he's never been one of those guys that didn't score, which this doesn't happen a lot. But like he's mad when we win and he scores 14, right? Like he's never that guy. Like when you deal with people that are skilled, like they want to win, but they want to score too. They want to score. Like you'll see the bitter beer face sometimes. You'll see those guys who are like, come on man, we won by 30. I know you only shot 4 times, but they work so hard. Like they're maniacal workers. So when you put in that kind of time, like you just, you want to crack at it from a shooting standpoint. And not every time it's going to be where you're going to get the volume of shots that you want.
Sam Musselman.
Matt asked earlier about just how hard it is for Cam to sit there and not play and kind of wait for an opportunity. Miles is kind of in the same boat, and I feel like every year in an NCAA tournament, we see a guy like this come off a bench and have a big game that nobody saw coming.
Yep.
Just how big of a luxury is it to have, a freshman who's not gun shy that comes in and
Right.
as soon as he touches the ball, if he got a shot, he's going to shoot it.
No question. And even if they take it away, like having a game like that, Mason making 9 threes last year against Penn State, it's the first thing that should be on Mason Gillis's, scouting report. This is the first thing on Cam's. So the more space we can give Zachary, the better. So Braden gives him space, Fletch gives him space, Cam gives him space. Like all the guys that can really, really shoot, Lance Jones gives him space. So like all the guys that can really shoot, that's all it's going to do for him. So like now if they want to overdo things with him, now, Cam has the ability to make that shot, make that drive and a closeout. and just make a good basketball play. It just completes our team and gives us balance.